Here at First Liberty, all the cases we represent have one thing in common. They all hinge on the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights, which protects the free exercise of faith. And those are the only cases we represent. So we produced a new animated video to explain the origin story of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Today's kids will be America's future leaders, so they need to understand how important our founding documents are. Religious freedom is the first liberty protected in the Constitution because it's the right that protects all of the others. And that's where First Liberty got our name. So grab some popcorn, sit down with your kids and grandkids, and enjoy this video. It's called Our First Liberty.
Soon after America just made its start, there still was a danger it might fall apart. The 13 states were showing frustration. They couldn't agree on a common foundation. A new course of action was needed because we all must agree on the same set of laws. Plans were considered from 2 different states with lots of discussions and heated debates. They argued over competing views. Just one could be chosen. The question was, whose? They realized after so many tries, they'd have to find a compromise. The leaders decided the only solution was writing an all-new Constitution. James Madison accepted the chore of framing a nation like never before. He and some others worked many long hours describing each of the government's powers. They planned the government much like a tree, with not just 1 or 2 branches, but 3. The balance of powers must be unimpaired. Therefore, the power must always be shared. The leader who guides us won't be a king. The citizens won't have to kiss his ring. Our president will be selected by earning our votes and getting elected. They wrote about courts and taxes and trade. They wrote about how new laws would be made. On some laws, there would be no debate. The local decisions were left to each state. The new Constitution was sent to each state. The response that it got was fair, but not great. The thing that this Constitution still lacks is protecting our rights from assaults and attacks. They grudgingly agreed to approve it, while Madison agreed to improve it. The group of writers were frazzled and drained. Their bodies were weary and nerves were strained. But they knew the country might come undone if our rights were not listed one by one. As good as it was, it must be better still. They worked more long nights with paper and quill. They hoped to stop all the squabbles and fights by adding what's called the Bill of Rights. American citizens won't live in fear of saying words that someone might hear. Conversations will never be banned. Freedom of speech is the law of the land. No one should suffer for printing their views. The press must be free to report all the news. We all have opinions we want to express. We'll guarantee freedom of the press. We mustn't be forced to stay off the streets. We'll have public places where everyone meets. As long as we're peaceful and all remain friendly, we must guarantee the right of assembly. The founders knew that it would be senseless to leave the people completely defenseless. In case we're in danger with no place to run, we'll each have the right of owning a gun. When someone's accused of whatever offense, he'll be allowed counsel for his defense. And when they're arrested, there'll be no denial. They'll each have the right to a public trial. We can't let the government get in the way of telling us how or where we can pray, what hymns to sing or lessons to teach. We'll be the ones who decide what to preach. Since Adam and Eve, ever since time began, our rights come from God and don't come from man. What people believe, we'll never deprive it, to practice their faith in public or private. Several more rights were written in ink. New copies were sent to see what they'd think. Debates were held again and again. They narrowed the list of rights down to 10. And when the dust settled, then finally at last, America's Bill of Rights was passed. This new Bill of Rights was just what we needed. Without it, our nation might not have succeeded. For Madison's epic contribution, he's called Father of the Constitution. Religious freedom mustn't be missed. It stands today at the top of the list. As our first liberty, all can attest, this is the right that protects all the rest.